Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you do. Hit the notification bell, and I'm glad you guys are here. We appreciate you watching the show. All right, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today we are in Lynchburg, Virginia, or as you say,
Southern Virginia.
You gotta say it slow. Slow
and a little twang.
A little
twang to it.
A little twang. I don't really consider Virginia the South, but I guess it is.
It's not, but it is. You know, we kind of like put our foot in the Southern type of aspect because we were like, you know.
I did go to a Waffle House this morning, so I love that.
And you'll see a lot of farming, and you know,
right.
It's just. Lots of
rural.
But it is. I mean, there's a boundary between. So we kind of you have your Northern Virginians that speak appropriately, and then you have us that speak slow and kind of run words together.
Oh my God! All right, well, I've got Jill McDaniel on the show. Jill from Mom at Arms, a DC Project gal.
Yeah.
I want to have one of these things where I say I've been with every DC Project. The DC Project state rep.
He's gotten around every DC Project lady.
I know, I have. I've had so many people say to me, they're like, dude, so you're hanging out with all these DC Project chicks. What's going on with you and them? Nothing. No, absolutely nothing. Why would I do something like that? First of all, I know these women are packing heat, and most of them could probably kick my ass.
Maybe.
So, maybe. I'm a wimp. All right.
We're going to give Charlie some bad directions in Virginia.
Great.
All roads lead to somewhere.
I know, just we don't know where.
We don't know where today. It's been a while since I've been up this way.
Oh my gosh. You and me. I can't say you and me both. All right, should we go north or south on 29?
You can go north.
We're going to go north.
Well, we can come back around.
All right.
Stay in the right lane.
I love this. I love my game. All right, so let's talk about you and Mom at Arms.
Yes.
How did you, you grew up here in Virginia?
I did. I'm a lifelong Virginian.
Yeah.
Pretty much the Second Amendment, gun rights, everything like that. Southern Virginian, let me put that back. Lifelong Southern Virginian. But we pretty much, gun rights and everything like, anything when you speak about guns, we've been instilled at birth. Right. Something has
very uncomfortable bourbon.
Very, very much so.
Right.
We come out packing.
When kids come out with a gun, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, packing. Like, what's up, Ma? But no, it's just that knowledge and that education and that safety has been given to us early on. We learned about it either through our family lineage or schools, and up until a certain point, of course.
Right.
Hunter's education was a big deal back when I was growing up. So, but yeah.
So you grew up around the guns. Did you go shooting? Like I was a gun agnostic, so there weren't guns in the house, but I wasn't against it. I mean, it wasn't part of my lifestyle, but I wasn't against it.
So
here, obviously, it's different.
Yes, my dad was not only he was a police officer, he was a police captain in Danville, Virginia. But he was also a farmer and a hunter. So avid hunter. So it was kind of like a skill that was passed down to us and taught to us for the sake of survival. more than anything else. And the protection element, because he was a police officer, he kind of came into play. So we would go, down to our family land or in the backyard sometimes and just. But in Southern Virginia,
free America.
I know,
Oh my gosh.
We'd pick a tree and make sure that we didn't miss. So that was how it was. But I learned how to shoot with a Daisy BB gun and a deck of cards. My dad would.
Really?
Yes.
Did the card thing? That's cool.
Yes. So that's how my dad taught me how to shoot. And then he would take us clay. We would go.
Do some shotgunning.
Do some of that. But we were rifle kids, so.
Gotcha.
I learned to use a rifle before I learned to use a pistol. So a handgun.
Very cool.
So it was kind of
Very cool.
But my dad always told us, he was like, I'm going to teach you how to use these.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need a cop. So that was how he went about that. So
right, we carry a gun because the police officer's too heavy.
Yes, exactly right. So, and we knew early on too that it takes forever. I mean, we lived out in the county. My dad was a city cop, and then we lived out in the county. It took him. He would tell us, it's like it takes me 30 minutes to get home every day. So just imagine what it is for.
This is what I'm going to go this way.
Yeah.
It says downtown.
Yes.
I don't know what downtown Lynchburg looks like.
It's really nice. It's kind of like old school industrial. If that's the part we're leading in.
I don't know. We'll find out. This is what I think the anti-gun crowd or the inner city folks don't realize is, sometimes the police is a half hour away. Exactly.
And I mean, my mom, who is what we would consider a city chick, she grew up with an understanding of firearms, but she wasn't really into them as like my dad was, as far as hunting and so forth. But she at one point, just because of my dad pretty much marrying her and taking her off into the county, out in the country land, she learned how to use a firearm. I mean, she learned how to use a rifle.
Cool.
I think she was like a little 420, 410. And
right.
Yes, and then she learned how to use bigger rifles, and she kept them around the house. When we were at home, especially with my brother and I being little.
Mm-hmm.
And then my little sister came along later. So she was making sure that we were well protected when my dad wasn't home. So we were out in the middle of nowhere. We didn't know. People would, I don't know if they still do it, but they, if you saw a random person that you weren't used to coming down a dead end road or anything like that you lived on, especially a farm road, it's a red flag. It's like, what is this?
It's
Wait a minute.
Red flag.
This is not good.
So I grew up, like I said, as a gun agnostic. After I became a gun guy, my mother said, she says, hey, why don't you come out to the Midwest and get your dad's guns? And I'm like, Dad had guns? And she's like, yeah. So I went out, I picked up a couple shotguns and a couple handguns. And my mom gave me this Browning Challenger, which is a 22 semi-auto, a nice little target pistol. And she said, oh, your dad bought this for me in the 60s. And she said, they lived in the middle of a cornfield in Illinois. And he said, if anyone comes up here that's not supposed to be here, shoot them. I'm like, wow.
That's how they handle things. I mean, it was just kind of like, everybody, a lot of it, of course, it's kind of grown up around it. When the show Yellowstone came out, and the whole, the plot and everything came out, it's like they just handled their own.
Right, and then they take them to the train station.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I mean, like growing up not in my lifetime, I'm going to go ahead and put it that way, but the older generations in Southern Virginia, and I would even say the whole state, I'm a little bit of anti-Northern Virginia, but anyway, but pretty much Virginians, those homegrown Virginians, the people that come, that's how they handle things.
Right.
So there's a lot of history, I mean, that Yellowstone history here in Virginia, not necessarily, I mean, I don't know anybody personally, but I have heard stories.
Jeez,
wink, wink. But yeah.
This is why I need to behave. This is exactly
There's
what I'm
an underground car line.
Right.
The train station right over there somewhere.
Right. Yeah, so Charlie was interviewing Jill in Virginia. She took him to the train station. We never heard from him again.
From him since.
Like that's when he stopped putting out content. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But we have, it's a lot of people say it's like slow pokey around here, but it's, I love it here. I wouldn't want to, I don't know.
All right, we're gonna turn this way.
Yeah, there's some little, oh yes. See, this is why I like giving directions.
You haven't given directions. What are you talking about?
I'm just like, let's wing it. We're gonna wing it today, guys.
So what did you tell me before the show started? You're like, yeah, I'm good at going for car rides.
Yeah, I'm good at car. I am. See, like, I really am. I mean, I'm not stressing. Are you?
That's good. You should be. I don't know where the hell we're going.
I did have some of my friends that were like, please don't do the useless information. I'm that person in the car. Useless information.
It's a little known fact, Livy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! All right, so how does all of this lead to Mom at Arms? When did you start to become more active in the gun community? All right, we're gonna.
So you're going into Amherst County. There's a side
or
bit. Mom at Arms, 2016.
Yeah.
The grand election between, debates and everything between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I didn't care politically about stuff, but I was very pregnant at the time that all of that started happening, and it was one of the first times that I had heard of any gun control ads throughout this area, like Southern Virginia area. If you heard of your friend talking about gun control that happened to be from Northern Virginia or DC area or something like that, here I am almost, at that time I was like 35-ish, I believe, somewhere around there. Maybe I don't even know how old I am right now, but I'm not going to admit it anyway.
This is why I like evergreen material.
Yes.
She doesn't even know how old she is.
I don't know, but I saw it was 2016, and I remember being pregnant, and I had my feet propped up on my couch and watching an ad for Hillary Clinton, and it was a gun control ad, and then she was like loving and hugging all these women. Moms demand action, and I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, that's, immediately when you hear moms demand action, you think of,
I think of a channel on YouPorn.
Exactly.
I've been saying that for forever, and I know people use Pornhub, but I'm a YouPorn.
But that is what I thought of. So, and it was the nasty woman movement then too. So I was like, I need to really dig into this. So I did, and then not too much longer, I had a baby. It was a boy. The baby, it's a boy. And then I gave it some time, so I started doing some research, and I ended up, something drove me to Twitter. And we go to Twitter, and I look, and there's something that Twitter I use normally to crap talk about college basketball and baseball, Major League Baseball and stuff like that. I really didn't care about any political anything, but I got on there, and that was all it was politics. I mean, I could have shut it down for years, and you come back on there, and that was all you saw was Clinton and Trump.
Right.
And so,
I thought this was, I've never been really active on Twitter, but it really always felt like a place where people just go knock down, drag out, argue, and fight.
Well, I was mind blown, because usually when you crap talk about, because I'm a Duke fan, and then you crap talk with UNC fans, you go away, you don't like each other's teams, but you just kind of like part with that disagreement. This was like complete mind blowing, and I'm not, at this time, I was not very big into social media. I could have cared less, and so I just got into just kind of like dipping my toe in the water, so to speak, and then finding Miss Shannon Watts, the founder of Moms Demand Action, and I was like, this woman she's lying. Nothing she is saying, or at least the majority of the things that she's saying, is it's not completely true.
Right.
Like, so this was latter part of 2017, almost 2018. That's when I was like, I need to start putting my voice out there more. So I started a blog. It started off as kind of momish.
Yeah.
But it was a mom's voice. against this Shannon Watts lady or against these gun control harpies that I started calling them. I didn't know about the DC Project or 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control,
right,
or anything like that at the time. But then I kind of started connecting with people all around the country through Twitter and social media, just to find out a little bit more about what's going on. Who is this? Have you heard about this lady? And I'm hearing stories and everything like that. I was like, all right, now we're getting into something. Now she has a history. She's got a background. She needs to be exposed. And if this many people know about her in this light, then there's probably more secrets behind it all.
Right.
So that's so I bought Mom at Arms. That was how that went down. And
cool.
after a while, I started asking for contributors, just like put your voice out there. So
cool. So it's kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of people getting together and write and share.
Yeah.
I love it when people, you were saying before, you're like, oh, my team. I'm like, I don't have a team. I have me.
I love it. See, but I'm one of those people where I think of us as a team. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I'm very big about the acronym Together Everyone Achieves More.
Nice.
And team. So of course I do have contributors that I've got several that come and go as they please. I'm really not I'm not like you gotta do this every week or anything like that. And then like just do what you can, do what you want. If you want to put your voice out there, let's do it. I want to hear the news that's going on in your hometown. I want to hear, it's a volunteer thing. I'm not, one of those paid things. I should be by this point, but we're working on that. But
girl,
when it comes,
you and me both.
and we're looking for our Bloomberg.
Oh my, I know.
But I really am. I mean, but I want it to be a community effort and a two-way community effort. And even folks that are not necessarily pro-gun, but very pro-self-defense, I've had them contribute some pieces to it, and a lot of domestic domestic abuse survivors, and people that have had encounters and lived in situations. I mean, it's mostly women, and I do have a contributor that is a guy who's a dad. He's a dad at arms, who he does a lot of really good research, and we kind of throw ideas back and forth and dig down into the rabbit holes a little bit deeper with one another. So it's kind of
very cool.
It's become something bigger than what I thought it ever would be.
Right.
So
that's always a good thing.
Oh yeah.
That is always a good thing. Keep going.
Oh, okay. I was just like looking at the church. See, I'm a good choir writer. I'm like, this is a nice church. But I stopped myself. But anyway, it was really pretty. It was a really pretty church.
The dash cam should be working, so we could add that. It's good B-roll.
It's like a dog and a squirrel.
All right, so how many people do you have that are...
I have 3 serious folks, or we'll say full-time, other than myself, and then we have about 15 floating contributors, and then we have pretty much and they're all spread out throughout the country, and then we have a lot of informants, let's put it that way. We do have a lot of informants. We do have
I'm going slow because we're on a brick road.
Yeah. Old downtown Lynchburg, Virginia. There's a huge pothole right here. Yeah, there you go. I'm a good car rider. But
some people have no idea. Like, they don't pay attention. I'm like, where are we? They're like,
there's gonna be a little bit, yeah. But yeah, I have informants. I have people that kind of sign up for the meetings and stuff like that with Moms Demand, and they get us intel.
Ooh,
so
really?
Yes, we have little moles. I have 2 or 3 that are actually serious in the thing, that they send us information every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah, we don't tell them anything. We're just like, hey, what'd you find out today? But they're legit pro-gun. They just know how to play it off that they make them think that they're not. So they go to these meetings, and I mean, it's not like they're gonna vet anybody, you know, but they go to these meetings and they vote gun control, and then they'll turn around and go vote pro gun, you know, pro gun ticket or something like, you know, that's the best way of explaining it. So
that's pretty wild.
Yeah,
I would love to sneak into an anti-gun meeting.
I've been into a couple. The last one I got to sit in on, and I think that just because it was a weird situation, was I cannot say her name, and it's just because I am Southern Virginian. Aaliyah. She's a congressional senator person here in Virginia. You'll have to look her up. You would almost think she's a moderate. Aaliyah is her last name, from what I understand. But she did a gun violence survivors big Zoom, and she made it, you know, open to the public, and a bunch of us, myself, another Mom at Arms contributor here in Virginia, as well as VCDL folks, we all got in there. 2 of the VCDL folks were actual gun violence survivors. I was just there as a spectator.
Right.
And
having the popcorn.
yeah, and that's what it was. I mean, and I would ask questions, you know, and very sincere. I was very sincere. I wasn't, you know, trying to crap talk like, you know, like I would towards Shannon Watts directly.
Right.
But I was very sincere. I was asking questions, and then one of the VCDL gun violence survivors actually spoke up, and they got booted out of the meeting. Yes. Mom's Demand was actually hosting the meeting. Mm-hmm. And they were going through anyone that spoke up against gun control, even though they were a gun violence survivor, they would get booted out of the meeting.
Wow. So they
that was
really don't want to hear anything.
If it's any type of pro-gun talk whatsoever, it's
gone.
And it took me a minute before they figured out who I was.
So
they booted me. Yeah.
Oh man.
There's not many people. I mean, when, you know, people will see me on Twitter or something like that, they're gonna think that I'm this, you know, huge B word, but I'm not. I really am not. I mean, unless provoked.
Right. You only pull that card out when needed.
When needed.
Absolutely. I went to something that my state was doing this past summer, mm-hmm. and so I went down to the State House in Boston, and one of the guys actually said, "Hey, there were some red shirts there," and they said, "We're having a contest to see who can put a sticker on the back of a red shirt." And I'm like, I'm good for competition, man. I'm good for competition, and I love a good story. So let's do it.
Yes. So
we walked around, and nobody was making an effort. Nobody was doing anything, and I'm like. The red shirts got in. They actually had some meetings where we couldn't take any meetings with any of the politicians. And then, like, it was one of these things where they made it public that we were going to be doing this, and we went out, and then they decided not to hold session that day. Mm-hmm. So a couple of people got to meet with some politicians. Anyway, cutting to the chase, the road ends. Wonderful.
All the roads lead to somewhere.
Except this one. It is a dead end.
We have made it to the end of the world.
We made it to the end of the world. All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna get a picture in front of us.
Okay.
Let's go. Little momentum. Anyway, so what I ended up doing when the red shirts were there is we had these stickers, and I peeled off the corner of a sticker so I didn't have to fight with it later. And some lady, we were almost done. Some lady was walking by to leave. I pulled off the back. I went up. I ran over. I patted him on the back. I'm like, "Hey, excuse me." Put her right on the back. "Hey, excuse me. I just wanted to talk about a little bit more about this. I see with the Mom's Demand action." And she's like, "What do you want to talk about?" I'm like, "Well, you know, I'm like, I don't know what to say because they were going to talk, right?" So for once, I'm at a loss of words. And I said, "Well, I just want to know where you stand on some of this stuff and how you feel about things." And she's like, "Well, what group are you with?" And I'm like, "I'm with the Gun Owners Action League." And she's like, "Oh, well, you know, we should do this. I'm like, no, we shouldn't do that. She's like, well, there was just some kid had access to a gun. Don't you think kids should have access to guns? I'm like, well, I don't think they'd have access to guns, but I don't want the government to come in and tell me how to store them, and I don't want the government to come into my house and inspect stuff, because I think that's a bunch of crap. And then she got, I don't know, I was not gonna give her an inch of anything, and she ended up walking away. I got a picture of the sticker on her shirt, and I went back to my friends. I'm like, you guys didn't get that on video? I put a sticker on her back. I talked to her, and you guys got nothing. Come on, you guys. This is a contest. Right now, it's Charlie 1, everyone else is 0.
That's exactly right.
Oh, man.
Do better.
Right.
Do better.
You guys got to step it up. Don't tell me we're having a contest and not have a contest. I'm in.
There, Bloomberg, when he was running for president, he opened up an office here, I think in Lynchburg, and then one in Danville. And it was really pathetic. They the gun saves lives stickers from lobby day. A ton of us still had them left over, and that's what we did was we would just went and bombarded the offices. Like they would come show up to their the door. I didn't personally, so don't point fingers at me, but I did supply some of the stickers.
Nice.
So
you guys had that big rally back in 2020. Like 20,000 people showed up? 22,000?
I want to say it was more than that.
Yeah.
I want to say it was more, because it was, when we were leaving, people were still coming in. And we stayed, the group I went with, we stayed all day. We got there when the earliest, the people, like little, just like ones or two, like little specks of folks. And then we just saw them all fly in, and then as folks were leaving, we were cleaning up, picking up all our trash, and we left.
Cleaning up and picking up our trash. This is something the anti-gun folks don't do. Like we learned this, whether we learned it in Hunter Ed, whether we learned it in Scouts, that you should
always clean up yourself. Leave things better. And it's one thing that I think, and that's, I grew up personally with this motto, but treat people and things better than you originally found them. And that's what we were doing. We were treating people. It didn't matter who we were politically or anything like that. There were liberals for gun rights, Democrats for gun rights, gays for gun, LGBTQ, everybody, anybody. It was just this awesome community event. Nobody cared. Yes, we had guns on us. Yes, we were flaunting them for a show towards Northam at the time, but we really weren't talking about that. I think one guy and I talked about why they put stickers on bananas. That was like, we were having just like the most basic conversations, just random out of everything, and everybody, the headlines were saying, they were talking about taking over the world. And I'm like, if a sticker on a Jaquita banana is what we're taking over the world with,
right,
we're doomed. That was one of the topics that I spoke about.
People are ridiculous.
So it was nice. It was really nice. And they had mini rallies throughout. I don't know if Lynchburg had one, but they had a lot of individual NRA chapters and other little, gun chapters, hunt clubs and stuff like that would have their meetings. If they couldn't make it to Richmond, they were having their meetings all over Virginia. So we were preparing. We knew that the 2A sanctuary stuff was about to, really take flight. And we wanted to make it concrete in some way and do that big show. So that was awesome. I wish we would have. I didn't get to go this year because everybody in my family decided to be sick. But lobby days are always fun. Lobby days are great.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
We had the thing that I went to. I want to say I counted them. 12 people, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's. I'm big ups for trying.
Right.
So, yeah. You didn't make it to the lobby day in Richmond?
I did not. Oh. No. I wish. I thought about coming down. I thought about coming down for stuff. I feel, as I sit here and bash the people in my state for not doing stuff, and I'm not talking about the gun owners actually, but for the people, like they had a day to go talk to your politicians, and a dozen people showed up. might have been 15, but whatever. It's not a lot of people. They had a breakfast, and less than 50 people came to the breakfast.
Oh.
I've gone to the CCDL events,
Okay.
and they have 300 people that show up. I went out to Gun Prom with the San Diego County gun owners,
Okay.
and they had 750 people show up to this breakfast, this dinner event. And you're just like, man, how come we can't get this many people
Yeah.
in my home state? So, a little aggravated there.
I think when it starts to actually, I don't know if it's like a season of reasoning, a season of reasoning, with a lot of places. Only like here in Virginia, I mean, it's like I was telling you before, we pretty much have all of this stuff instilled in us. We're not
Right.
really, we don't focus, especially on this part of the state, we don't really focus on the politics.
Right.
We focus on the rights. We focus on the Constitution.
Mhm.
And I mean, walking down the road right now, I mean, there's very rarely where you meet anyone that's gonna be like, hey, I'm a gun owner or anything like that.
Right.
You know,
It's not an issue.
It's not an issue. It's not really something, it's not a topic of conversation. But when
Right, because everybody is.
exactly. And when the government starts trying to poke holes in it and start to twist things around and start to attempt to take things away, that's when
Right.
we
That's
get
when you
mad.
gotta get. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, how does all of this lead to you becoming a DC project? Oh, well, hold on. You're an instructor too, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a USCCA certified instructor here in Virginia.
Very cool.
Southern Virginia.
Southern Virginia. Gotta say it slower. Southern Virginia.
That's right. And then I did that a few years ago.
Very
Wasn't
cool.
too much long after DC Project. DC Project, I actually took the position of Virginia director the week of Lobby Day.
Oh, in
Yeah,
2020?
it was kind of like one of those things like, we need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, I'm ready.
That's awesome.
Let's go. So, and that's when I talked. And Diana's words were, do you want to be the director for Virginia? I mean, before she even said hello, or hi, I'm Diana. I'm
She's
like,
all biz.
she's like, we've got to do this. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, okay, let's try.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then all of a sudden we became pals.
All right, do we need to go south or north?
We went north to south.
Oh, crap.
It's okay.
All right, we're going to have to bang you in someplace. Maybe right
that's
here?
one right here.
All right, let's see where
I'll
that
have
car's
to get
going.
my phone to get the little.
All right, so Dee just went up to you. She didn't say hi. She's like, hey.
Oh, she was on the phone. So that was fun. And I was just kind of, I was like, I think I can.
Did you reach out to her? Did she reach out to you?
I think it was one of those things where we were slowly getting to know of one another. I had just made pals with Rebecca Schmoy and
she's awesome.
And Mary
Callison.
And
She's a lot of fun.
they're so much fun.
I know.
It's 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control. They were, of course, DC Project at that time too.
Yep.
And of course, Miss Rhonda Zell. That's she's my heart. But she was encouraging me. She's like, you really should, really think about it. So they were kind of, I guess, telling Di about me and what I was doing as far as Mom at Arms, and it kind of just blossomed from where it was. So,
Nice.
and that's what we did. And she called me about, I want to say it was the week of Lobby Day. She had a director already, but the original director also suggested me kind of take over because she had some other things to do, and she's still awesome, and she's doing really big things in the more central to northern Virginia area. And so it's just kind of one of those things that just happened. And it's been a slow process for Virginians, especially when we have the VCDL that is so grounded, and they have done such a phenomenal job. And they have, they pretty much have the but they pretty much have the floor. So my job, as far as the director of the Virginia DCP, I want us to be those cheerleaders. I want us to be those cheerleaders for them. I want us to be the extension of promotion for them. From a woman's perspective, a mom's perspective.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, you know, they think, oh, that's DCP, it's nothing but you know, pro shooters and stuff like that. And it's honestly not. I am not a pro shooter at all. I mean, I probably outshoot some, but I'm not.
Right.
I have a lot of confidence. I have enough confidence. Let me put it that way. So, but yeah, that's how that became. And then Lobby Day happened. She said, Di sent me a text message. She said, get some video footage. And I said, okie dokie. That's what I did. And that's how it all became.
That's cool.
And then now I'm here.
Now you're here. USCCA instructor. How did this come about?
One of my DC project ladies is also the state director. It was a girl, not a girl and a gun, but
Well-armed woman?
well-armed woman. Her name is Dawn. She's a Utah lady in NRA. She's pretty much certified in everything that I want to be. But she told me, she was like, you need to do this. You need to broaden your horizons. You need to put, you know, you can do this. And I was like, all right. And I did it. And
it's cool.
now it's kind of like one of those things where I'm trying to build it up as its own brand and business now. So, but yeah, and I love it. It's something I have a lot of passion for. So I love, and it's sadly enough, not sadly, but weirdly enough, I like the situational awareness aspect of it more than I do the range time.
Right.
And I like the range. I'm a range chick. You know, I like to go and.
But it's the situational awareness that one, I mean, it doesn't cost anything. Two, everyone needs to do it. And three, hopefully your situation, paying attention to your situation will not make it so you need to use your firearm.
Exactly. Because ammo is expensive. Or still expensive.
It is. Sometimes hard to find.
Yes. And I like that because it's also a lot of thinking. You know, when you get to the situational awareness and you really put your, you know, make it a priority, not necessarily like a stressor, but a priority.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about yourself in that. You're becoming more aware of yourself. You're becoming more aware of where you're putting yourself and your family. And I think that a lot of women, especially if we're mothers, we tend to let that kind of
let it go.
We don't really pay attention to it, and that's what I like to focus on.
I've told people, you know, I talk about situational awareness and how it's important, but then I put a fun twist on it. I think I told people I started to pay attention to my surroundings more after I started carrying guns and knives, but I really started to pay attention to my surroundings after I got divorced, because I did not want to run into my ex-wife at the grocery store. Right? And I'm practicing using my my situational awareness. And I say this because my ex-wife doesn't watch the show, but that's kind of what it is. And I do the same thing, and I do the same thing with my friends. Oh, we can smell
Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn. Look at that. I say. I don't know where we're at. We're gonna play the back.
Do a little Yui.
We've made a lot of Yui.
Yui turns. And like I said, Virginia, you just do it.
Free America. So I do the same thing with my friends. Like I try not that I sneak up on my friends, but I'm trying to avoid them. But I try to make it. I want to see them before they see me.
Exactly.
What it comes down to. So
that's exactly right. And I mean, who doesn't want to do that? I mean, like, who doesn't want to do that? I mean, nowadays, I mean, things is crazy.
Oh my God, it's nuts.
So I wish women would take that, even if you are not into firearms. The situational awareness aspect should be the route that everyone should go. If gun safety classes in general are not something that you feel like you'd be comfortable with, because you would have, a handling of a gun, or either it will go against your morals or something like that, at least look into a situational awareness class.
Yeah.
Because that can help kind of
avoid situations.
Avoid situations, but also kind of lower your guard when it comes down to, and that's probably a poor choice of words talking about situational awareness, but what I mean is it would probably make you more comfortable in talking about other methods of self-protection.
Sure. As a guy that carries knives and guns, I think everything leads to people wanting to carry.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what I think. So, one, I always think that one's going to lead to the other. So.
I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's not paranoia. I mean, paranoia would be like looking out my windows every day.
Right. It's not paranoia if they're really out to get you.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. I know. You don't. All right. Listen, we are almost back to where we need to be. Where what else do we need to talk about?
I don't know. I think we've chatted a lot.
We covered everything. We talked about you and becoming a pro-gun gal. Becoming active. We talked about Moms Demand. We talked about the DCP. Not Moms Demand, Mom at Arms.
Mom at Arms. That's fine. It happens. I did build Mom at Arms to be a pain in the watt for the pain in the watt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You so the Moms at Arm website has some pretty funny shirts.
We did create a shirt that was a little perverse, but we were doing it. It was a fake shirt.
It was a real shirt.
It was a real shirt, but it was a fake shirt. We put it through in order to get the demo look that we needed. We had to put it through a shirt system. So we completely reconfigured the Moms Demand Action logo minus the naughty images, but I had done it way too similar. Okay, but then we put the naughty images onto it of people doing some bedroom exercises, and they to represent Moms Demand Action, and we ended up making 2 or 3 shirts as a spoof, and we had guys wear them for the Man Enough to Be a Mom campaign that Moms Demand Action was doing. And that was it. It was only 3 shirts in existence, and we cut it off. And at that same time, one of the Northern Virginia Moms Demand Action leaders was upset with me because we didn't redact all of her information in a FOIA that we did, Freedom of Information Act, when honestly we redacted more than what the original forms were. Whoa. So I was lighting into her, but she was going through my site. You know, I give her big ups for this one. She was going through my site and she found that shirt and she reported it. She told Bloomberg, every town who owns Moms Demand Action, and they sent my third-party t-shirt vendor a cease and desist.
Wow.
So the shirt was supposed to be wiped off the planet pretty much because of that cease and desist. But later on, Shannon Watts used it to defame Nick Freitas and his wife when Nick was running for Congress. And I came in there going, that shirt wasn't even made when Shannon says it was, and all that good stuff. So we got her.
I've got all this proof here
yes.
that she's lying.
Yes, I still have, I had it even printed out in a little even though it was not directly at me, but my third-party t-shirt vendor at the time, they had to submit it in my name because I was the one that designed the shirt.
Gotcha.
I just forgot to go in after the shirts were made. I forgot to go in and pull it from our inventory. So it was kind of like a flop, but it worked out in our favor. So, I mean, and I was like, all right. Well. I know. So now we just redesigned our own shirt and it's called the Commie Mommies Demand Action shirt. So
that's cool.
Demand something shirt.
I saw the, was it supposed to be an image of Trump with Just Deal With It glasses?
No, that is Sheriff up in Culpeper. That's the Culpeper Sheriff. I can't think of his name right now. Sheriff, I'll
never forget what's his name. That's all right.
Anyway, it's the Culpeper Sheriff. We did a retro look to it where he's got the Deal With It glasses. It's when he told everyone that he was going to do. He was probably one of the first sheriffs to back the 2A sanctuaries in Virginia. And he was like, come and take it. He was like, we're not going to, he's more Southern than I am. But he was like, come and take it. And you're not going to take, we're not going to, do unconstitutional law. I mean, he's just, I can't remember his name at the moment. But
well, it caught my attention. It said grab him by the posse,
but it was posse comitatum. I can remember that. But it's grab him by the posse. So, and that's what he was doing. He was invoking the posse that very underwritten.
That's great.
So I got that, and that was like one of the first like legit shirts that we promoted.
Yeah.
And not many people get it because I really need to put the sheriff's name on there and actually give him some
then you
props.
got to do some research.
Yeah. Because I had to tweak his image as well. So, but and I need to remember his name. But yeah, he was one of the big influences when it came down to the 2A sanctuary stuff.
That's
and
cool.
I was like, his face needs to be on a shirt with them glasses. And that's what we did. And
That's
grab
great.
him by the posse. So
That's so cool.
yeah.
All right. How can people find you and all your stuff?
momatarms.com. Or you can find us on IG or Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I think we're still there. They threaten to take us down every week, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Facebook, you will find 2 forms of Mom at Arms. It's Mom at Arms training here in Virginia for firearms training, and then it's the Mom at Arms crap talk page. So that's a little bit bigger. But are we anywhere else? That's it. I think that's it. And then of course, just. I don't know, maybe we'll be bigger. Maybe we'll all be bigger in the next year or so. I don't know.
I'm trying to do what I can. You know what I'm saying? I like to lose a little bit of weight.
Talking about ours.
Right, the camera adds 10 pounds. How many cameras are on you? Thanks, Charlie.
That's a really good, thank you. I actually thought about that on my way here.
Yeah?
I was like, man, I put on 10 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
He's got a camera. He's got another 10.
Yeah,
but now he's got 3.
There's 3. Don't tell him.
Just so y'all know, I really look like Angelina Jolie.
There you go. This is why I have the decent project house in the car. All right. Well, listen. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
I've got
you.
I forgot to take these out, but I got a couple stickers I'm going to give you. The riding shotgun stickers and the gun gram stickers. And we're going to close everything out. So thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. If you are not a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, go to saf.org and join them. It's only $150 for a lifetime membership. You can check out all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts at sdrn.us. That's the Self-Defense Radio Network. And if you've made it this far, you need to be sharing the show with all of your people. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Jill, for hopping on the show. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks.